designed to help instill, either inspire them or instruct them. You literally are choosing the story from the past based on what you want developed in them now or in the future. Okay? So it's important. Story and storytelling is really critical. We've unfortunately given that over to other people. And so what we're saying is claim it, but we also need to be conscious of the scripts or we'll mistell it. All right? Let's keep on going. So here is elements from the Araminta is Harriet Tubman's name that her parents gave her at birth. Okay? She later took on her mother's name, which was Harriet. Okay? And so when we say Araminta, we mean Harriet Tubman, vice versa. Did Araminta carry a gun? But she carried a gun. Who was the gun for? Who was the gun for? Who have you heard her pointing the gun at? Who was it for?
The other Africans she was trying to free.
The other Africans she was trying to free. Anybody else heard that? Raise your hand if you've heard that story. Okay? And raise your hand if that makes sense to you. Okay, let's take a look at that. So y'all, how come we've never heard of, seen images of, even in our own minds, of her pointing the gun at the people who were trying to kill her? How come?
Because they're superior and they're kind and represent all.
Well, that's a script, isn't it? That's not something we consciously decided to do. In fact, we're being told the story about Harriet Tubman. You've been told part of it your whole life. And so here's this powerful black woman risking her life going back behind enemy lines. You think she really went back behind enemy lines and she ain't ever have to take any white folks off the planet? You really think that? But the question is, does it make black sense for you to believe that the gun was for us and not for those people who was trying to kill? Even if she had to occasionally say, yo, you can't do that, you can't go back. To think that the gun was for us, and I have to tell you, you're not the only audience. 100% of the audiences that I've done this say the same thing in the same amount, that the gun was for us. Because this is a representative of that same script. I found this on the internet. Who is she pointing the gun at? This is the artist's conception, a black artist's conception of Harriet Tubman. And it says, be free or die. Who's she talking to? Africans, not slaves, if you will. Okay, she's talking to Africans in captivity. All right, and then, exactly, I got it. That's who she's talking to in this bit. She's literally pointing the gun at us, and so this, we get it reinforced all the time. This quote is actually, there's no evidence that she's ever said this. I freed 1,000. Could have freed 1,000 more if I only knew. There's something about her pointing the gun at us, something about us putting us down. It is this persistent script that we're going to use this icon. I want you to understand, here is one of the baddest revolutionaries that we know of. Black woman. Going back and forth, rescuing her family, rescuing others, risking her life. And we turn her into someone who's going to whoop up on us. Now that's the presence of an injected racial script. So now what I want to do is give you an opportunity to heal that. Okay? And white folks and black folks in the audience, y'all can participate in it because y'all probably never seen that either. White folks in the room, have you ever imagined Harriet Tubman shooting white folks? You ever had that scene in your head? Probably not. Okay, so good. So you can heal that misinformation as well. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. If not, just pick a place on the floor or the ceiling. And I want you to take 3 deep breaths. Take it in. And easy, let it out. One more time. Now, in this relaxed state, what I want you to do is I want you to correct that script. I want you to correct that image. I want you to actually create an image in your mind of Harriet Tubman, of Araminta, en route with other Africans trying to get free. And out of the bushes, there are these dogs, these captors, these folks who would want to kill her and take us back into captivity. And I want you to create an image of her taking them off the planet. But I want you to think about it. I want you to see the gun firing. I want you to see them falling. And anything else in that scene that makes sense to you. And once you have it, open your eyes and come on back. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Now, many times, how many of you have had any difficulty with this, with that exercise? Some people do have a little difficulty with that exercise. And one of the reasons that we do is that MSO. This is the image that I created. Or I had an artist to create. I don't draw that well. Some people have a difficulty with that. When some people were asked to do that, they experience some anguish, some pain, some moral distress. Did any of you have any of that this is kind of morally wrong? Okay, good. A lot of people do. You see, because part of that anguish and pain that you didn't feel is because what we learn, a part of a script, is morality in service of oppression. Whenever we're going to do anything against our oppressor, somehow it's immoral. How many of you remember this phrase? When they go low, you go. Did I just make that up or something? Yes. You see, what would happen if they went low and we went lower? Somehow that's morally wrong. We have to morally, it's the right thing to do, to go higher. It's better to see Araminta, Harriet Tubman, just having had the good fortune of never having to take any white folks off the planet, even though we were trying to kill her over years. Now, let's just look at this. Sometimes we even use this morality in service of oppression. This morality hides our surrender. So we're scripted to surrender, to not use our power to challenge oppression. Instead, we can take the moral high ground. Now, y'all, I don't mean that I'm against morality at all. I just want you to notice when is morality evoked in our minds and how come it's evoked when I'm going to execute power, when I want to remove white people from power over us. There was a woman in Washington, D.C. when we presented. She was very sad because when she was asked to do that exercise that you successfully did, she said she'd been taking nonviolent stand for a long time. Her son had been killed from violence, and so her position was we don't need to be violent. And when put in this situation, she said, you know, I got some work to do. That I couldn't see this black woman defending herself against people who were violent toward her because of my nonviolent stand. In that context, she said, that's a problem. And so she began to look at it. So I want you to be aware and come to be aware of when our morality is used as a way to hide the script that tells us to surrender. All right? And also, we want to do some contrast. So in that scene, Araminta is the heroine saving us and herself, and the captors, the white captors, are the aliens. But here's another one that you might be used to or may have seen. Some of you, who recognizes this? Some of you are older. This is from a movie called what? Aliens. And we have the white Sigourney Weaver, and I love this movie, incidentally, this whole series. White Sigourney Weaver and this big black alien. And we have no moral pains or anguish when she fires on the alien to protect this child. But it's not as easy for us to celebrate Harriet Tubman firing on the aliens when she's trying to protect the child. That's the presence of an injected racial script. Wouldn't you agree? One we need to heal, don't you think? So we want to get rid of morality in service of oppression, right? Because we'll do thumbs up to that. All right, so now,